My name is Jason J. Rock Houston, and you're listening to Catacris Magazine. We can be found on the web at www.catacris.com. And our special guest tonight is PJ Farley, the bass player from Trixter. Welcome to the show, PJ. How you doing?
Howdy. Thanks for having me.
Now, you got a new song we're going to get into in a little bit, but if you don't mind, I'd like to start the show off asking some Trixter-related questions, only because 2020 marks the 20th anniversary of the debut Trixter album. So, can you believe it's been that long since you guys put that out?
30th.
Yeah. Just about.
Insane.
And
50th, 60th. It seems like
Seems
like a century ago, but
it's kind of funny because if you go back 30 years ago, you guys were obviously a lot younger, and I heard people comment, you guys are like a hard rock boy band, and obviously if you really get into the music of Trixter, you guys are great musicians. So my question was, being that you guys started out so young of that, and back in the day you'd hear comments like that, did that ever get to you, that people thought that you guys were just got signed based on your looks and that? Because like I said, you really dig into the music. You guys are great musicians.
Yeah, we were patient with it because look, we got out and we were younger than all the bands that were out there, so we knew we were going to take our lumps because we were young and cute.
Yeah. If you want to say
that. People really have to kind of pay attention in order to see through the initial here's a bunch of young cute kids.
Yeah.
And then see it. We would always say, come see us live, motherfucker.
Yeah. And I know you and Steve Brown formed the band, and if you don't mind us kind of talking about the elephant in the room, recently you guys have kind of gone on the record saying that there's kind of I don't know if you want to call it a riff or a feud, you and Steve kind of against Pete and Mark. Do you want to touch on any of that, or would you rather not talk about it?
No, I'll talk about it. To a degree. Something happened with there's two camps at this point.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
And there was just things that happened that shouldn't have happened.
Okay.
And not for me and Steve.
Okay.
And we purposely didn't go and talk about it because I for one said I'm not dragging it through the mud.
Yeah.
We'll settle this internally. We're big boys, we're brothers, and we'll get through it. And I'm certainly not going to go and start mudslinging and whatnot.
Yeah.
Out of respect for the band and out of respect for and hopes that we can one day do it again. So I kind of remain silent.
Oh, I can respect that. I can respect that.
Yeah, and still kind of remain silent. But the fact is that things were done that shouldn't have happened, and it caused a rift in the band. And it's unfortunate, but it happened.
In your perspective, do you think there's a chance you guys may be able to work it out, like you said, kind of amongst the four of you? But do you see any hope of that one day?
This is what I've always said. Everyone has everyone's phone number.
Yeah. Okay.
My phone's always on. Steve's phone's always on. But there's got to be some effort.
Yeah, and again, I will say I kind of agree with you. Action speaks louder than words. But I will tell you that recently, I don't know if you had a chance to hear it or not, but recently I did an interview with Mark, and I kind of asked him for his take on the situation, and he kind of told me the same thing as well. I don't want to really badmouth anybody. He says, he said I will say this much that as far as he's concerned, he wanted, he said that he felt that he was at least 50% to blame for whatever the rift is, and I told him that I was trying to get an interview with you. He said, well, if you do talk to PJ, just tell him I said my best for whatever it means. Now that we kind of got that out of the way, let's get into talking about the new PJ Farley solo album, which is your second solo. It's called Accent the Change. Now I got to tell you, PJ, I haven't had a chance to hear the whole album, but I have seen the video for Let It Rain, and it's quite different. It almost sounds kind of poppy, but I got to compliment you because you got a pretty good voice, and to talk a little bit about what that's like for you to kind of be in the role of the lead singer versus just a bass player.
Like fronting my own band with my own material is, obviously something that I don't do every day. So, but I've been singing for, almost 30 years. So, singing's not new to me.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, like stepping out and fronting my own band with just my own material, you know, that's something new and, you know, something, you know, that I'll probably do more of in the next coming year.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's fun. I mean, you know, I write all the time now, and it's, I don't know. I don't really think too much about it.
Yeah, well, when you should, because like there's a certain, it makes certain sense to me if you've got the ability to sing and stuff. You know, when you write your own tunes, why not do them? You know, I mean, it's the truest form of doing a solo album. You know, as opposed to having another guy come into the band and sing your lyrics. I think it makes total sense.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I'm in plenty of bands where, you know, I contribute, and it's not, you know, all about me, you know, which I love being part of something. I don't, you know, that's what I really kind of love doing. But it just so happens that I do kind of write songs that are really kind of just about me, you know, so it's great that I get to do this also. But, you know, it doesn't change the fact that I love being a part of something. As opposed to being to something.
And kind of while everybody's kind of, you know, in lockdown mode, it's the perfect time for a solo album. I think you kind of get in there real fast and do. Now, did you record this like at a home studio, or where did you record it?
No, I did this all over the place. I did a lot of it in L.A.
Oh, wow.
Some of it in Michigan, some of it in Nashville. There's a couple songs here in Jersey. It's been kind of all over the place for the last 2 years I've been recording. And it's been cool because I wanted to work in different atmospheres, with different people, and get, you know, different vibes, you know. And
did you get those different vibes, like just the fact that you were in different cities doing it, and like you said, playing with different people?
Yeah, just working with different people. Essentially, you know, I knew anytime I went to a studio with a song or two songs, I had pretty much everything in my head. I knew what the song should sound like going into the studio.
Wow.
So it was good to kind of work with other people and, you know, kind of put it in their hands and say, okay, let's, you know, here's what I know it needs to sound like. Let's see what your touch can be on it. And
did you have any role in the production of the album, or did you have different people produce the different tracks?
Yeah, I had my singer for Ra, the band I'm in. He's a great producer. You know, he writes and records everything for Ra and for many artists. I worked with him on 4 songs, and although I've written all the songs, and again, like I said, I knew exactly how they should sound.
Yeah.
I trusted that he knew exactly what I was going for. So I would go in, lay guitar track, scratch guitar track down, vocal, the bass, you know, kind of build the bones of the track, and then I would just say, okay.
Yeah.
Now you kind of finish it, you know. But everything is pretty much, you know, I don't go into the studio unless I know, like, certain guitar parts I need to hear, and I'm feeling, you know, and dynamics and stuff. I got a really good vision of what I want to hear finished product-wise before I even go in the studio.
Wow.
So, but it's great to be able to work with somebody who understands that and then takes it to another level.
Now, of course, like I said, we're currently in lockdown mode all across the, you know, United States, the world, so hopefully that'll not be forever, but with that in mind, do you have any special events, like maybe you do like a streaming event or something to promote the album, or you know, what are your plans right now as far as touring? Because I know it's different in different areas.
Yeah, I mean, well, I've been out performing since like August.
Oh, wow.
I went out and toured with Fozzy. I was playing with them in August, and I went out and did a couple shows with Eric Martin, Mr. Big. Me and him have been out a couple times in the last couple of months. I'm leaving in 2 days for 2 more shows, and got a couple of the shows for the rest of the year. I have a solo show supporting my new record in November.
Oh, wow.
In Berlin, Maryland on November 20th, I think, or 21st. So that'll be the first of that. Nothing streaming-wise just as of yet. I'm not really a fan of it, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I know it's a necessary evil at this point, but man, I'm just kind of holding out and hoping for the best.
Yeah.
For this thing to kind of turn around. Maybe it's naive. I don't know, but I don't know. The streaming thing just seems a little anticlimactic to me.
Yeah.
And
I
might do something, but I don't know.
It sounds like to me like there's no shortage of gigs for you. So if you don't have to do that, I don't see, because a lot of the guys I've interviewed, they told me the only thing is, you know, it's not like really performing live in the sense you don't have a roar of a crowd to kind of, you know, feed off of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, look at it. I'm not. I don't have a nationwide Live Nation tour booked, so
Yeah.
I don't have to worry about. Oh man, well I can't. It's not like Bon Jovi's going to go out and play to 25% capacity.
Yeah.
If I'm going out doing an acoustic show, that's about all that's going to be there anyway.
Wow.
I'm not fooling anybody. I'm perfectly fine going out. Like me and Eric go out and play these acoustic shows, and it's perfect for this. Because you can set up tables and it's acoustic show, so it's conducive to that environment. So it works out great.
Yeah, and now again, the new album is called Accent the Change. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm kind of assuming that kind of has to do maybe with the current state of the world, how it's changing and this and that.
Well, ironically, it could be tied into that because, this world has changed so much this year. But the fact is, I had the title
before that. Wow, amazing.
2 years ago.
Talk about fitting.
It was. So it's really just kind of ironic that the record came out during all this with that. So it could absolutely be tied in. But really, I get the title from the fact that all the songs in this new record are, about subjects that are so different from when I wrote the first record. And so much has changed in my life from when I wrote my first record to now. And, it's kind of a way of...
Yeah, that's kind of going to be my next question. How would you say this solo album is different from the first one? Obviously it's probably a progression, but like doing the two albums, would you say that there's a real huge difference? Like you were more comfortable doing a solo album this time around because you'd already done it?
You know what? As far as that goes, I was not uncomfortable with the first one because, I didn't really care about expectations. I didn't have to sound like anything.
Yeah.
And that's not why I wrote those songs, I didn't write any of those songs on that first record with the idea of like really kind of putting a record out. I just wrote them and recorded them. And then finally, years after I recorded them, I'm like, I'm going to put these on a record, put them out.
So almost...
I'm tired of just listening to myself.
Almost this new album is really, truly a solo album in the sense that you wrote all the music. That's great.
Yeah, they both are.
They're
both very much about it. It's all about me, man.
Yeah.
This is my channel to do so.
Well, that's the whole point. And I think what's kind of cool, like you said, when you do an album like this, it's not a raw album, it's not a Trixter album, and so you kind of have the freedom to kind of go and do whatever you want. And interestingly enough, now you are going to have a certain percentage of fans that are going to follow you from Trixter, and then there's going to be a certain percentage of people that buy this album that know nothing about Trixter, and that's kind of an interesting thing because I think both sets of fans will dig it, if they hear his music.
Yeah, and I think there are. I think Trixter fans will find elements in the record that go, oh yeah, I can see this. This could have been like on one of the newer Trixter records. I can see that, and who knows? Maybe some of the raw fans will be like, oh, this is kind of cool. And plus, Sahaj did some of the background vocals. It's got a little hint of raw-esque, flavor on there. So, there's a little... And that's not conscious. That's just, these two bands that I've been in for a really long time.
Yeah, and it's interesting because you mentioned Bon Jovi earlier. They just released a new album, too, and they've also got a song on there, I know it's just coincidental, called Let It Rain. But talking about your album... now we've heard, I've heard the new single and I've seen the video. It's really cool, and I think people are going to dig it. But for people that haven't heard the rest of the album, PJ, like, how would you describe? Would you say there's like a rock stuff that's a little more rock oriented, or is there kind of like a little bit of everything for everybody?
Yeah, at the end of the day, it's a guitar-driven rock record. It's not a full-on
metal album,
metal record.
Yeah.
But it comes out, it opens up strong, and give you all the gas in the beginning, and then I kind of take you through a little bit of a ride, and slow it down in the middle there, and then bring it back up, and then the last two songs are kind of once it gets you over the hump.
Yeah. And
I got you listening, and I kind of land the plane and give you two of the little slower songs. But meaningful songs nonetheless.
Yeah.
So, hopefully, you can just kind of latch onto the lyrics enjoy the ride nonetheless. But yeah, I mean, it's a rock record at the end of the day.
And I know you've been writing music, like you said, for years, you know, not just with Trixter, but other projects you're involved with. And I was kind of curious, like, what's it like to go in, you know, and do a solo album like this, and kind of you don't really have to check with the other guys in the band. You can kind of go in, you can pick which songs you want to do or not do, and you got that total freedom, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's always a plus side of that, you know, and a minus side.
Yeah, yeah.
Sometimes you like having someone go, I don't know if that works, or something like that, you know. So it works both ways.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, there's definitely a good thing of having that freedom, going, you know what, fuck it, I'm putting it on, I'm doing this, I'm doing it like this, and then that's what it's for, really, you know. That's why anybody really who does a solo record, who's involved in other projects, really kind of does that, just for the sake of doing it. Yeah, and you know, some people do it because maybe they're not able to do that in some of their other projects, or some people just do it because, like for me, I'm not doing this because I have to hold back in any other project. It's just like
something different to do.
It's just something different.
And that's got to be kind of a cool thing in doing a project like this, because like maybe if you were in Trixter, you know, it's still your band, you can do what you want, but there's like a certain expectation of what people expect. There's not so much that expectation with this.
I have to respect, you know, the overall, you know, umbrella of what Trixter is and what kind of needs to be there, you know. And although even, you know, our attitude with Trixter too, you know, I mean, Steve and I are not, you know, sitting down going, well, this doesn't sound like it could be a Trixter song, because, you know, if we're writing it, then it's Trixter.
Yeah. And I always loved the name of the band. How did you guys come up with that? Because it's quite unique. I've never heard anything quite like it. I mean, it gets your attention. It gets in your brain. People remember it, you know?
Trixter, Steve saw in a comic book.
Oh, wow.
It was in a Batman comic book, I think. It was a character or something. And so he thought about that when he was just a wee lad.
Yeah. That's amazing. And like, talk about the song "Give It to Me Good," because again, we're talking about 30 years of Trixter for the debut album, and I got to tell you, that's like a lot of people, that's the song that turned me on to you guys, and you know, it was all over MTV. What do you remember about, like, you know, either recording the song or doing that video? Because just watching the video is so much, just such a fun thing to watch, you know.
Give It to Me Good was just one of those magical moments that, I mean, from the time Steve played us the demo of the song, we were like, it was the last song, like we were just signed, we were just about to get signed, and he brought that in. It was like, boom, this is, if we didn't have it already, this is the one. Now we are 1,000% confident. And then, you know, we kind of had the concept for the video. Everybody was doing the big rock arena, you know, crowdless stage videos and everything. We were like, you know what? As much as we would love to do that, it's just been done so much, and it's just kind of like not what we are. I mean, we are, but we're not, you know. We want to bring something different visually, and we're a little bit more organic of a band, you know. I mean, we grew up on, you know, Motley, Poison, Van Halen, Kiss, and all that stuff, and the big rock shows and everything, and we love that, and that's what we wanted, but we felt it was important for us to be true to ourselves and kind of bring a little bit of our attitude into our first video. And I think we, you know, just like when we heard the song, you know, when we got the concept for the video and we shot the video, I think we were like, you know what? This video is fucking just as good as the song. It's going to knock it out of the park. And it did. It connected with everybody. Everybody related. You know, they appreciated the fact that we were just, you know, I mean, you know, again, back to we took some lumps because we were so young, but the fact is the video is too cool to hate.
Yeah, and it's, you know, people, that's the song that people kind of point to all these years later for whatever reason. And you mentioned being a Kiss fan, and I know you guys, like on the Revenge tour, you opened up for them, and you were touring with them when they recorded Kiss Alive 3. What was that like for you, you know, being Kiss fans and getting to open with, you know, your heroes, and they're recording an album, you know, like that?
Yeah, that was great. I mean, because I don't even think that when we first got the tour, I mean, we were just so excited to be able to go out on tour. And then we heard that they were doing that. We're like, fuck, this is great.
Yeah.
So we just get to sit there at sound check and watch them, like,
Yeah.
play songs that they weren't playing during the show to maybe put on the record or something, or just working things out and sit in the remote truck while they were recording it and stuff, and hang out with Eddie Kramer. It was pretty fucking cool for a Kiss fan. I mean, Kiss Alive 3.
Yeah, and I got to tell people that aren't aware of it. Trixter's got a pretty cool sounding live album yourselves, a Live in Japan album, and I know that was recorded like in '93, but not released till like 2008. I was just kind of curious why you guys held off on releasing that so long, for so long, because it's a great album. I mean, and again, just the track we're talking about, for example, Give It To Me Good, the live version on there. I mean, it's like 8 minutes long or something. You guys really rocked it up, and that's a proof of a really great live band.
Milking it.
Yeah. It's like seeing the classic Deep Purple back in the day with Ritchie Blackmore, John Lord. They would jam out on a song for like 30 minutes.
Yeah, we were just having fun with it, man. Crowd participation. We broke into Paradise City and that in there, and just had fun with it. And it was kind of the end of the show, so
you just did your thing.
We never wanted it to end.
Yeah. And that's what the live event is all about. And you guys are really a great live band. And while we're on the subject of Trixter, I just got to say, you guys, you had that success 30 years ago when the band first came out. And, the band didn't tour for a while, and you got back together. I think you did like 2 more studio albums. Were you surprised when the band, got back together that the fan reaction was just as big as before?
Yeah, I was surprised. I mean, we'd been asked for years, even back when those Rock Never Stops tours were happening and stuff, like, how come you guys don't put it back together and stuff? I don't know. I mean, besides the fact that me and Steve were busy doing other things, we had a band together and we were just, writing and recording. We just kind of felt that there wasn't as big enough of a demand to kind of wrangle everyone together. And, we thought, of course, some people would want to see it and stuff, but is it really worth... I don't think we were ready yet. We just had to do other things. We did Trixter so young, and we just needed to branch out and do other things, and kind of get that out of our system. And then, slowly but surely, we decided to put it back together. It was great to be able to do that and go back to doing
new music. And
new music. It was great.
Because I got respect for bands like that a lot of bands kind of living on their laurels in the sense that nobody's buying CDs, so we're just going to kind of live on our catalog music. So I got to hand it to you guys that the last time you did go out there, you're still giving your fans new music. Maybe one day again, maybe not, but if not, you got a great catalog of music. So for the fans,
it's a double-edged sword too, though, because it's funny because nobody knows better than us that for a band like us. Yeah. Especially when we're on a festival, we know what the people want to hear, and we're always like early on the bill, so we got like a half-hour set and stuff. So it's not. I mean, we can keep doing these new records till we're blue in the face, but we're not going to be able to play any music. Because we have to play what we're there. Why we're there in the first place.
So true.
So it's kind of like we have all this great new music that we want to play, but really, until we're in a headlining setting, which is, kind of rare, we can't really do too much of it. So it's a little frustrating, but, better to have it than to not.
And then the last thing I want to ask about Trixter is, I got to say, you guys were part of one of the best tours ever, that tour you guys did with Firehouse and Warren. I mean, talk a little bit about that. I mean, what do you remember from that tour?
I remember not remembering.
Oh, there you go.
That's a no-brainer. That was everyone's favorite tour. I'm like speaking for the tour itself. Everyone in the bands and stuff. I mean, we just...
You were there, so huh?
Yeah, the camaraderie, everybody top to bottom was just a traveling circus for 4 or 5 months in '91. It was, couldn't ask for a better tour. I mean, it was just all bands, really kind of peaking at the same time. So true. It was exactly the way it should have been.
And you would think that bands like that, there'd be a lot of egos going on, but apparently, like you said, nothing but getting along, and that's the way it should be. Now you mentioned that you're playing also with Eric Martin now. Steve Brown, he does the live shows with you guys, doesn't he? Or
Yeah, so we do a full band where it's me, Steve, Eric, and Joey Casada on drums. That's how it started.
Yeah.
So we will continue to do that, and but in the interim, Eric and I will go out and do some just acoustic shows.
Oh, so that's just gonna be you and Eric, and if you guys
and we have a percussionist, yeah.
Have you guys discussed the possibility of maybe like doing a live CD or something of the event? Hasn't come up.
Yes to no. I mean, we've talked about everything. Writing a record, doing a record. Talk.
Yeah, well, I guess you got to get out there and see how the fans react to the live show first. You guys are doing, and
I mean, they love it. They're having a great time, and we're playing Mr. Big stuff, Trixter stuff.
Oh wow!
Some of my solo stuff, some stuff from a band that Steve and I had together years ago. I mean, we're doing a lot of cool stuff. So it's a really cool, fun, and funny show.
Yeah,
there's a lot of character up there.
And I think because like anybody who knows Eric's the Eric Martin band, they got some great material from over years, but a lot of people know mostly, like you said, from Mr. Big. So it'll be a chance for people that aren't as familiar with that to hear it, almost like hearing a new record for the first time.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. And so obviously you and Steve are so close because you're not only the two that really started Trixter and everything, but you play together with Eric Barnon, and you guys. I'm sure it sounds like you're the best of friends, and you're constantly talking together. So that's got to be great to have.
Pete and Steve. Really kind of
hit it off.
They grew up in Paramus, and Steve started the band, and got kind of turned Pete into a singer. Basically, just told him, "You're going to be my singer."
Yeah.
And then it started from there.
Oh,
I'm kind of the, quote unquote, the new guy. Yeah, I didn't join until 87. I think.
Wow. Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
And now was there ever talk? Well, I guess Pete was already in the band, but from what you're telling me, but I was curious. Was there any talk of you ever being like a singer in Trixter, or you never really wanted to do that? Just concentrate on
No.
Okay.
Not at all. No. This is Trixter was very much formatted the way we wanted it to be. Rock band, lead singer in the middle.
Yeah.
Old school like Van Halen. I mean, Steve is an amazing singer too. I mean, could very well be the singer for Trixter, but that's not that's not what we wanted at all.
Yeah, it's too, like when you talk about a band like Van Halen. I mean, a big part of that band's sound was Michael Anthony's background. And speaking of Van Halen, sadly Eddie recently passed, and I seen you comment about the fact that you actually knew the guy. So do you have anything you'd like to share about knowing Eddie, or any special memory you have?
Yeah, I mean, I was lucky enough to. I mean, Steve became friends with him. Actually, we were introduced to him from Matt Bruck, who was his tech back in the time. I think it was '91.
Wow.
And and Steve and Matt became really good friends, and in turn became
They introduced you to him.
Friends with Ed, and so I was kind of lucky enough to tag along a number of times, and go down to the shows or whatnot, and just hang out, the three of us in a room, and just really kind of shoot shit as dudes, not as
not even musicians.
As much as every once in a while I go, oh, this fucking Eddie Van Halen I'm talking to. Okay, shake it off. Anyway, hey, you hear the one about the telling jokes and shit? It's like it was really kind of surreal. So I mean, it's.
What else can you say, right? I mean,
I mean, it's a surreal thing. I mean, we knew he was sick for a long time, actually, even before the news broke, like 2 years ago, when people finally heard. We knew he'd been battling, and then I was. And then again, we knew this time too, but it was really under wraps.
Yeah, I mean, I was amazed. I wasn't totally surprised because I'd been hearing things like, rumors as you do, like he was going between Europe and the United States for treatment stuff. But then, when his death was announced the other day, they were saying that he's actually been battling the cancer since 2000. I mean, what a fighter, So, he gave.
He made I mean, he was fighting it, then he kind of recovered, and then he came back. I want to say maybe 3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah.
And it was kind of off and on, but he was making trips. I think it was Germany or something like that, to and from, and then I think finally he just decided that he took the doctors back here with him.
Yeah,
and then nobody really knew, but he'd been in the hospital for about a month as of late.
Yeah, I was glad to hear at least him and Sammy patched up their differences before he died. That's a cool thing to hear,
Yeah.
And
very cool.
Yeah, last thing I wanted, because I know you're a busy man, PJ. You're talking about you have a solo show coming up in about a month. I was curious, like, as more places start to open, do you think you'd start doing more solo shows in regards to that? Will you have like a same band that travels with you on the road for all these shows, or will you have different bands in different cities?
I would prefer to, just like I took a band out on the first record. We did short run, and that's kind of great. I mean, I like to have
same guys,
as opposed to just kind of. I mean, I know sometimes when people go to other countries, they go, "All right, I'm going to South America, and the promoter's got these guys that are going to back me up." And whatnot, But and that's cool and everything, but ideally, I would like to have a band and be able to travel with a band. If it affords, the scenario. That's what I'd like to do.
And you, in these solo shows that you may be doing, do you see like maybe throwing in a few Trixter songs or songs from other projects you've been involved with, or do you want to strictly keep it to the stuff on the 2 solo albums?
I don't know. I think I'm gonna, really kind of
keep it set.
Just keep it. No, not keep it to anything really. Just keep it with no restrictions. Really, just kind of play whatever the fuck I want. I'm not a stickler, and
that's cool. I like that.
In the sense that I'm gonna go and go. No, this is just me, or this is just. I just come out and do whatever. Just like I make the records. I go, I don't care what they sound like. I don't care if it sounds like it should be on this record or that record. It's all about really freedom. So if I'm feeling it and they're really wanting it, maybe I'll sing them something they want to hear. I don't know.
Yeah. And
so it's a game time decision every night.
Okay, and final question here. I was just curious, if you've had a chance, your drummer Mark Scott, he put out a solo version of the song "Give It To Me Good." Have you had a chance to hear it, or if so, what are your thoughts on that? Or do you want to not comment?
I heard blips of it. I mean, like I said, I'm glad he's productive. Okay,
we'll leave it at that. Well, PJ, as you can tell, I'm obviously a Trixter fan, and I want to now I'm going to get the new album because I've heard the single and I really dig it, and I want to hear the rest of the stuff. So I urge people to go out and buy the album and support you, because you're just people may know you from Trixter, but the fact that you're playing with Eric Martin, you're doing these other things, super talented musician. So I urge people to go out and support what you're doing. So if you ever have a chance, again, let's do this down the line. If you ever have anything to promote, feel free to reach out to me, okay? Thanks for doing this, PJ.
Okay, cool. Thanks.
Bye-bye.